Now, typically recruiting an NPC into your team is as easy as completing a quest or simply hearing them say that they are willing to join you. However, not every companion is fond of simplicity, because some prefer to make the process as bizarre and as complex as possible. And that's what we're here to talk about today, as I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 secret video game companions you recruit under the most bizarre circumstances. Number 10. Skie Silvershield, Baldur's Gate. The original Baldur's Gate features as many as 25 unique companions for you to recruit. Some of them are stranger than others, while some may require you to do some pretty bizarre things to unlock them. In the case of Skie Silvershield, it's actually both. Skie Silvershield is an heiress of the Silvershield family who will join you and your team if only you agree to kidnap her for a ransom. Well, to be more precise, she doesn't want you to kidnap her, but rather another companion of yours, a womanizing bard by the name of Eldoth Kron. You see, Skie is in love with Eldoth, and she believes the bard wants to stage her kidnapping to run away with her, even though in reality he's only doing it for the ransom money. For this reason, Skie will join your team only if you show up to her house with Eldoth. Otherwise, she'll consider you to be actual kidnappers and refuse to go with you. This makes Skie the only companion in the game who requires you to have another companion in your party to get her. It also makes her the saddest and most delusional person on your team, but that's a different topic for another list. Number 9. Derkeethus, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Most of the followers that you're going to find in Skyrim are Nords, who are either mercenaries or proud warriors seeking to prove themselves in combat. The other races do get some representation in the companion roster as well, except that is for the reptile Argonians, who seem to have missed the call about the Dragonborn recruiting new people into their party. However, this isn't because there aren't any Argonian companions in the game, it's just that the only recruitable lizard is also the only follower that you have to rescue out of a random dungeon. Derkeethus is an Argonian miner who's been secretly kidnapped by a group of Falmer hiding in the nearby caves of Darkwater Pass. The location where you find Derkeethus is pretty remote, and since there's no big quest associated with it, there's a big chance that you're never going to find him unless you're the type of player to randomly explore every location that you come across. Even then, you're probably not going to explore Darkwater Pass hoping to get a companion. You simply are just going to make it through the dungeon until you hear his cry for help and then finally realise that the only Argonian companion in the game was missing because somebody kidnapped them. Number 8. Tharja, Fire Emblem Awakening. In Fire Emblem Awakening, your character has to build an entire warband of loyal companions and then ship them together like a warmongering Cupid. Typically, the companions that you recruit will willingly join you in their designated quests, but there are also a couple of companions that have more bizarre requirements for recruitment, and one such follower is Tharja. This dark mage appears in one of the final missions of the first act as an enemy on the battlefield. Aside from her distinct design and a small line of dialogue hinting that she might be reluctant to fight, there isn't really anything indicating that she's a potential recruit for your army. If you don't pay attention, it's easy to treat them as just another mob to kill, but if you pick up on her uniqueness, you can choose to move up to her with your party leader and then initiate a secret dialogue, in which she forfeits and turns on her own people. Afterwards, if Tharja makes it through the level alive, she'll permanently join your team and act really creepily around your custom character, as she's not so secretly smitten by their mysterious dark aura. Lovely. Number 7. Umaro, Final Fantasy VI. The Final Fantasy series offers a wide range of followers in pretty much every single title. However, not every one of the franchise's many companions is easy to recruit. In fact, Umaro from Final Fantasy VI might take the cake for being the weirdest companion to both recruit and to handle. You see, Umaro is a giant yeti that acts as a boss but can secretly be tamed to become a follower. You have to fight him in his very own cave location, and after you defeat him, the abominable snowman will temporarily come to his senses, allowing you to converse. At this stage, it might just seem like Umaro is nothing more than a friendly NPC. However, the Yeti can actually be recruited if you have Mog present in your party, as he resembles Umaro's friends, and this combined with you winning will make the hairy giant treat Mog like his new boss. Because Umaro has to be fought and will only become a follower if you have a very specific party member in your party, he's definitely the strangest companion in the entire game. To add to all of this weirdness, even after you recruit him, you can't really give him a command, as his unique Berserker class prevents him from following orders. That is one quirky Yeti. Number 6. Zevran, Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins' companions are not the most ordinary of people, but the process of recruiting them is actually rather straightforward. Most of them will simply ask to join you at specific parts of the story, making them pretty hard to miss. Well, that's most of them, but not Zevran. You see, Zevran, the assassin of the infamous Antivan Crows, is one of the rare companions in the game that you might miss, and that's because it's actually more logical to kill him. Prior to meeting him, Zevran is shown as a hired assassin working for your main enemy. Shortly after, he sets up an ambush with his fellow crows to kill you, So, if you make it out alive, the last thing that you think about is making him your friend. Still, after you foil Zevran's plans, the game gives you an opportunity to check on his unconscious body. This is where most practical people would just simply finish him off or just ignore him, but if you choose to wake him up instead, the assassin will, surprisingly, offer to give his life in your service. Most of your companions will rightfully say not to trust a man who just tried to kill you, but who cares, right? I mean, few could resist the charms of a dying murderer. Number 5. Junkyard Dog, Fallout 4. If you're the type of person who completes every single quest and explores every location, you're guaranteed to find and recruit all of the main companions in Fallout 4. However, there is one potential recruit in the game that even a proper perfectionist isn't going to get, unless, that is, they're a little bit lucky. Although Dogmeat is Fallout 4's bestest boy, he actually isn't the only dog companion in the game. The player can purchase additional guard dogs from specialized merchants, one of whom is the super mutant Erickson from the Far Harbor DLC, and the other is a random wandering NPC called Gene. Now, of the two vendors, Gene is definitely the rarer to encounter, as he will only appear in a random event that triggers while you're traversing the Commonwealth. Because of this, it's very much possible to play the entire game without ever getting the chance to purchase his canine friend, simply called the Junkyard Dog. The pup is already the most unique Fallout 4 companion for this reason alone, but to make things even weirder, buying one isn't as easy as just giving Gene some caps. You're going to have to convince him to sell the dog with a charisma check because apparently he's too attached to it. Oh really, Gene? If you're so attached to it, why didn't you give it a goddamn name? Number 4. Skelly, Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross is another JRPG with a huge roster of recruitable companions. Some of them require you to do specific things in order to add them to your party, but none of them can hold a candle to the level of complexity involved in getting the game's secret companion, Skelly. Skelly, the undead jester, is the only companion in Chrono Cross that requires you to assemble him from parts that you have to gather by going on a worldwide treasure hunt. Skelly's many bones are scattered throughout 6 different parts of the world map. Gathering them is, in and of itself, a monumental task, unlike anything you have to do to get the other followers, but that isn't even the end of it. After you collect the pieces, you have to bring them to an elderly woman in another world's Termina, who will identify Skelly's remains as the bones of her grandson and then offer to reassemble him. What follows is a disturbing but rather touching scene of Skelly reuniting with his long-lost family, after which you can finally add him to your party. Yes, this long chain of scavenging and drama happens only so you can have a funny little skeleton clown as a companion. Sign me up, yeah? Number 3. Patrick McCreary, Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 features plenty of cameos from characters from the previous titles in the series. However, only one of these reoccurring characters can be recruited into your heist team. And the interesting thing about all of this is that it begins with you being recruited into their operation first. Those who played GTA 4 may remember Packie McCreary as the cynical but otherwise reliable friend of Nico Bellic, who robs the largest bank in Liberty City with him. In GTA 5, Patrick is still deep in his criminal ways, and if you're lucky enough, you might be able to experience one of his heists in person. The Irish gunman can be randomly encountered robbing a store in Strawberry. As he runs away from the cops, he'll shout at you to grab a car and force you to become his getaway driver. If you follow through with his impromptu recruitment and successfully flee the scene, Packie will instead offer to work for you. He's one of the most expensive gunmen for hire, but he also has the best stats out of all of them, making him a worthy addition to your crew. Or are you still technically part of his crew? That's up in the air. Number 2. Ciar, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous allows you to play as a character of different origins, both good and evil alike. Each origin comes with a unique set of companions for you to recruit, and as you may suspect, the Lich character tends to get their companions in a not-so-consensual way, as in they resurrect them from the dead. Like other playable heroes, the Lich mostly gathers their companions by defeating them in combat and bringing them back as their faithful servants. This already sounds pretty bizarre as it is, but to make things even weirder, one of the missable companions for this character, Ciar, has to be tricked to attack you in order for you to kill him. Unlike other unfortunate heroes, Ciar the Cavalier isn't somebody who stands in your way. The only way for you to recruit him is to trick him and his people into storming your temple and then to make them fail. Because Ciar can be resurrected only if you personally invite the hero to come after you, most people aren't aware that he is a potential companion. After all, who in their right mind invites unwanted solicitors to their bloody doorstep? And number 1, Miria, Fallout 2. Usually when there's a romance system in a game, you get to woo your companions after you've recruited them and gotten to know them better. In the case of Miria from Fallout 2 though, it's actually the other way round. Miria is one of the 2 siblings from the slaughterhouse in MODOK that the players can recruit into their party. They're also the only 2 companions who join your team only after you've married them. In order to recruit Miria, you have to seduce her by having at least 7 charisma and then asking her for a quick odd job behind the slaughterhouse. This will lead to the 2 of you sleeping together, and although Miria is convinced this is where your spontaneous rendezvous is going to end, her father, well, has something completely different in mind. As you're about to leave, he'll catch you two together and will demand that you marry his daughter on the spot. Miria will be unhappy, preferring to keep her freedom intact, but if you follow through with her dad's demands, she'll become your wife and offer to travel together. And just like that, you've got a lover, a wife, and a companion all in one go.